And this is Mark. Mark is here tonight because he's the social media guru, and he has a vast experience, but he specialises in hospitality. Since the age of 9, you've been working in your parents' shop, so you know the inside. He knows the inside and the outside, front of house, back of house, everything to do with running a restaurant and a business. And he started his own business since he was 19 years old.
19, yeah, that's correct.
And his strategies are proven to work. Just like any medication for people, something will work for someone, but it won't work for someone else. So Mark has put all these strategies and tried and tested them, and he's here tonight to tell us about his experiences along the way.
Well, thank you, Deb, for tonight, for making this to happen, to get started with. And I want to say thank you for all of you, because there are a lot of invitations went out and you guys made it. So thank you for being here. And yeah, let's get started.
Lovely. Okay, so the social media's been around for a while.
Yeah.
But how do you test if you can deliver on your investment through advertising?
Okay, well, social media as a name, and as a lot of people know, social media is first of all the struggle. Like you post every day or you post once a week, and you're trying to make this thing work for you. Sometimes you might see this boost button or promote button on your Facebook page, and you might try it for 1 day or 2, and this thing doesn't work. So you kind of lose interest, you stop doing it. Sometimes you go back, oh, it's Mother's Day, let me go and do something there, and then you leave it to the next thing until something else might pop up. And the reason for that, it's like when someone gets a new camera and you take it home and you're all excited and you start taking photos and they're all blurred and ugly and dark, and you're really not happy. You just paid like $2 for this camera and you don't really know how to use it. So the same thing with social media. Once you know that really you don't know how to drive it, how to make it work for you, you lose interest and you think, no, this thing doesn't really work. It's completely the opposite. You know, when you go and you buy a camera or you go and do a course on photography, how to use that camera, all the settings, different light situations, and all of a sudden your photos become nice, vibrant, beautiful photos. Same deal with social media. You know, once you get the right knowledge, the right skills, and you start testing and measuring, then you start seeing results, and you start putting in more time and focus into it, for one reason, that you're getting return on investment out of this thing. So we specialize in getting return on investment out of social media because we know how to drive it. Yes, you do get return on investment. Obviously, when you drive it in the right way, you have the right strategies, the right approach, and it is similar to so many different businesses. It might be different from one business to another slightly, but the strategies, the principles, the backbone of it is pretty much the same. Yep. So
how do you generate measurable sales from a Facebook post?
Okay, so let's pretend we're having a meeting with a client and he wants to boost his sales. Usually the approach when it gets to a restaurant, and specifically when it gets to social media, we work with the chef to come up with something special. Special doesn't mean discounts or half-price cocktails. Special means something that looks interesting on camera, vibrant, has a nice contrast. It could be plated differently. It could, like one client last time did hot chocolate out of a shake. Those crazy shakes in Melbourne, you might Google. You'll see, if you Google crazy shake, you'll know what I'm talking about. And he made a hot chocolate out of it. So we put this on video. Obviously, you know, Nutella hot chocolate, it's all standing out, and it went crazy when we boosted that thing. Again, we have our own kind of funnel to boost that. And And then once we boosted that, the next day he can see his sales went off the roof only for that specific special. And keep in mind, no one knows about it. Like none of his customers knew that this thing exists inside the cafe. Only the ones that following on social media knew about it, and they started tagging each other. We gotta go here. And this is how our clients measure return on investment. Even if we weren't involved and they were doing their thing with it the right way, and they boosted something that is really interesting and exciting, and all of a sudden, right the next day or even within a few days, they see results.
Can I ask, by boost, do you mean you've paid Google?
Paid ads, yeah, paid advertising.
And you've chosen you said you've got your own funnel?
Yes, so when it gets to like a full marketing agency, we create different audiences, different than an average restaurant owner or a business owner. So what we do, we usually have, for the same thing, like let's say this hot chocolate shake, we might have 6 different campaigns going after targeting different audiences all at the same time. So one campaign could be targeting everyone that visits this cafe website. So if you visit that website, we remarket to you this specific thing. If you follow the page, that's another campaign that we go after whoever follow that page. Then we start improving retention rate. So Mark being here, he likes our stuff. Most likely if he see that thing, he will be back. The third campaign is going after a new audience that never heard of the cafe before, never been on the website, never followed the page. So we go after that. Those are the 3 audiences. Then we recreate that on Instagram. So we retarget, run the exact same thing, same deal, but on the Instagram platform. So that's what we do from our end. A normal business owner will just go 10-mile radius, $10. Let's see what happens. So that's the difference.
Just a query on that. So what's the difference between your website visitors and the profile of that person and those who like your Facebook page?
Because a lot of people might, they don't follow you on Facebook, and they just moved in the area, or they might even live far away and they're looking to go somewhere, or even they might be staying at someone, or they just want to go out there, visiting that area for some reason, Google. So they might be on Zomato, then they end up on the website doing their research, or they might be on Google doing some research, then they might end up on your website. And they might visit so many different websites, but let's say they go to Facebook or open up Instagram and you pop up in their feed with something out of, breaks the pattern, like, oh my God, what's this? That's how you get them to your site, to follow or to come in as a customer, stuff like that. Yeah. Does that answer?
Not really.
Okay.
I'm wondering what's the difference.
The difference is because on Facebook,
the client profile that you're marketing to, how
yeah.
do you know it's a different person you're trying to attract?
So easy question is how do I know if this website visitor doesn't really follow me on Facebook? Is that
sort of?
Yeah.
And whether that profile is different to someone who is the profile of someone who just visits your website really different to the profile of someone that follows
You mean the ones on Facebook might be young and
yeah. It could be completely different. Because from our analysis, you might find a cafe that does freak shakes, that all the youngsters, teenagers go there, and all of a sudden you walk in there and you can see a lot of 60 years old there or 70 years olds there, and just them sitting there and enjoying a coffee so the profile could look like completely different, only because if someone is on the website highly interested, even though his profile doesn't really match your best customers, but he's interested, so why not try to remarket to them specifically when it doesn't really cost you much? Like, you're not remarketing to hundreds of thousands of people. That's not how many people visit the website. Maybe, depends, 200, 300 people visit the website in a month. Depends how busy the place is. So very valuable to actually retarget those people. Yeah, but most of the time you will see massive fluctuation with the profile age. But that's okay. If they end up being a customer, why not?
So how do you know the profile of someone visiting your website?
Yeah, because I don't know
If
how
they have
to capture
registered
that.
This is how you know. So inside Facebook, the advertising platform, there is something called Audience Insight.
Yeah.
Facebook Audience Insight.
But that doesn't exist on your website, does it?
I'll make it
Okay.
to make more sense. Is so there is a piece of code that you put on your website. It's a pixel. It creates an audience of whoever visits the website. Once they visit your website, I think up to 1,000 people visit the website. You'll be able to hook that audience to Facebook audience inside that Facebook audience tool. Hook it to it. But you need to have at least 1,000 people within that audience, and then it'll show you their complete profiles, like interests, but not individuals. Like I wouldn't know your name, but I will know there are 1,000 people, 20% of them between this age and this age, 30% of them between this age and this age. That's where they come from. That's what they do on Facebook. That's what they're interested in. So all sort of stuff that we.
Is this part of Google Analytics?
Facebook.
Yeah, so that'd be why.
Facebook.
On your website?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that'd be why when you go through and you Google different things and you click on something and then the next day or the day later it actually
There's
pops up
something
on something
pop up.
else.
Yeah, that's
You go,
using
oh, what a coincidence.
using the Facebook
Yeah.
audience. Yeah. You can even know how many of them are divorced, married, how many kids they have. Yeah, scary stuff.
I market to divorcees all the time. They drink more, so.
Oh, lovely. So we know that when you post directly onto your Facebook page, your business page, it only reaches 10% of your entire followers.
Yes.
How do you actually get?
Okay, so that
reach
drives
out?
us back to the advertising. Back in 2010, 2011, when you used to post, you used to reach out to a lot more people that used to like your page. Right now, if you post on your Facebook page, maybe up to 10% will see your post. Even if you have 5,000, maybe only 500 will see it. And that's why Facebook want you to boost and advertise so they can make money out of it. And now they're doing the exact same thing on Instagram. Instagram is becoming a lot more, they're narrowing your reach dramatically. Like we can see it when we used to get clients on board with little advertising. We used to get massive results out of Instagram, and that was wonderful. But right now, you will need to advertise to get somewhere even with Instagram.
So even when you boost a post, sorry, do you have a question?
I was going to say, when you advertise, you hit 100%.
You hit the 100%. Yeah. If they use Facebook within that week, and you're advertising for that entire week, for example, you'll hit them. Yeah. You'll reach out to all of them.
Okay, so if you do a boosted post on Facebook and it shoots over to Instagram, do you use the same audience profiles
Yeah.
for the same
Yeah.
platforms?
Yes. You can create two different campaigns going after one to Instagram and one to Facebook, or you can use the exact same campaign to go both ways. A little bit too technical here, but yes, you can.
In short, yes.
Yeah.
So what's working with Instagram at the moment, today?
Exactly what's working with Facebook. Something that breaks the pattern to whoever is using Instagram. You gotta look at what everyone else is doing, and you gotta think, you know what? How can I break this? How can I showcase something that it looks unfamiliar? You know, it could be the photography has to do a lot with it. Like if someone doing really good photography and you go back and post stuff that looks boring, it's not going to get you anywhere. Pretty much when we posted this hot chocolate shake, and I always go back to it, Fox FM picked it up from Instagram and made a post out of it on their Facebook page and said, oh, the most Instagrammable hot chocolate thing on Instagram. So if the media picks up stuff out of your page, you're doing, you know what you're doing a good job. How would you get ideas? How, you know what, I don't have any idea how to drive this thing. How do I get ideas? Go to accounts that they're doing really good with their accounts, you know, and related to your industry, and see what is their secret, what do they post, and see how can you maybe take some ideas but make it your own, like add your own hint to it. And then you will find that when you do that, you will get much better results on Instagram.
I've got a question. I've been told that if you go out and like, or you pay someone to go and like
Stuff, yeah.
30,000 sites,
Yeah.
people, and they'll like you back, and then you've got an audience, and then you unlike them.
Yeah.
Because then you just want them to be your audience.
That's one strategy.
If we're all doing that.
Yeah.
It's completely fake because we're not liking anything because we like it. We're just trying to build an audience and then unliking it 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
So as a strategy, I don't even think that's sensible. But what do you do?
How we make sense out of it. It is a strategy that can be used, and it is useful because it provides social proof for others. So if I'm looking into your business, and let's say back then you followed a lot of people and unfollowed, and you have a big following on your page, I don't know what happened. If I rock up on your page and just want to check you out, oh my God, she has like 10,000 followers. That's social proof for me as a potential customer. So most likely you will get me on board than someone else that doesn't have really much of a following. That's one of the main reasons we might use that strategy. Even though that it's fake, not really fake, like there's still real people following you. They're not, you didn't buy likes, you just kind of engaged in an activity.
Networking.
And got you all these followers. As long as they're not robots or fake accounts that they sell online, that's okay. You know, it doesn't hurt your account. But at the same time, it does provide social proof for me. Okay?
Sorry, excuse my ignorance.
That's
so
all right.
if I go into someone's Facebook page and I like their Facebook page, does that automatically get them to see mine? Like
on Facebook?
What's the link?
And
Yeah,
that's more on Instagram, sorry.
Oh, it's Instagram.
So they do that activity.
Okay.
It's very familiar on Instagram.
Okay, so if I like someone on Instagram,
And they might like you back or follow you back.
So do they automatically
They get a
notification.
They get a notification if you've liked it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then they
Prompts them to go back the other way.
Okay.
And you just
yeah.
gotta be careful
Okay.
with this. Don't do it on a dramatic level because you might get your account wiped off.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
No, that's all right.
I've got a question on that. I've got some competitors that like me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we
So we
I
all.
don't actually want them to see everything that I'm posting.
Of course
and
you can.
ideas. Yeah.
Of course you can. And if you block them, you block the opportunity for them to tap into your audience because they can go and see who's following you and then interact with those on an individual kind of level and then take some out of your audience. Yeah, of course, but you can block them.
So there is a way.
Yeah.
You can do the same to them too, right? You can do the
Yeah,
same
of
to them.
course I can. I'm happy to do that. I'm just
They're one way.
I'm on one side.
Can you tell us anything? There's a new platform, isn't there? Is it Allo or?
Hello
Yeah.
for
It's like Instagram.
yeah.
Like, is that something that we should be using as well, or?
Okay. I don't know of Hello to be honest. There are platforms which I can't recommend because if you do use them, Instagram is becoming a lot more aggressive. You can get your account disabled like within few hours. You'll try to log into your account and it's gone.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't recommend it to anyone to go on and do that sort of stuff via platforms because Instagram is scanning your account and it knows, you know what, Katie always uses her mobile phone from that IP address, from that geofence area kind of. And all of a sudden, this thing out of nowhere, from a different IP address, aggressively liking and following, they can see that from their end and they can disable your account. You can never get it back. So that's the risk that you run if you engage with this. But there are people doing it, so it's up to you.
What I actually meant about using that site for advertising like you would Instagram and Facebook
Oh,
Or you don't know enough about it?
no.
Yeah, it's a new social media platform. No, so we've just started getting a lot of traffic, I guess, other companies using that.
From it's called Allo.
Yeah, E-double-L-O.
And it's like Facebook, or it's like just another.
It's like another Instagram.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Okay, you guys, you can check it out when you get home. Yeah.
That's just all the phones will come out now.
Yeah.
I don't need another one.
Exactly. So what type of content? You said it's got to be fun and bright and
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But what sort of content is there? Is it?
Okay.
Should you mix it
Well,
up with
we
video?
found that video trumps everything. Any interactive kind of action in the video trumps a lot of photos that people post, and it breaks the pattern again, because if everyone else is posting photos and you come back with a video and the video is like, oh my, really interesting and exciting, you will get 100 times the reach, and sometimes you don't even need to boost that thing. And I'll go back to my case study with the hot chocolate shake. We posted this on Facebook without any boost. We reached to 25,000 people out of not $1 spent on it, and we had from the same day, in the same night, over 100 comments on that post. And that's the thing that went to Fox FM right after, like right in that same morning. I got a phone call from a client. He goes, guess what, this is what just happened. That's what happens when you try to do things differently and a lot more exciting. I find video for us, we do video all the time and we absolutely love it. Video, it doesn't mean video of yourself. It can be, it depends on what you're trying to do. But when we do a video of whatever we're trying to advertise, and people will see it in a kind of, if specifically if there's like nitrogen coming out of it, because there's a lot of dishes that do some kind of nitrogen activity in it. Some do fire. Some, they just need to see Nutella.
That's right.
Yeah. Not much, just show them Nutella on anything, and you'll find them go crazy. And it's all about testing. Like, we test a lot of things, and after a while, you'll find what really works for your audience, and you kind of, okay, how can I recreate that? How can I recreate that with a different idea?
What sort of things harm your brand in social media?
Sorry?
What sort of things would harm your brand in social media?
Links.
Links. What would
so
harm?
Photography, I mean, obviously, if you're posting something really shabby and that people see that as a direct representation of your product, is there anything else that you really avoid? Racist, sexist?
Yeah, well, you don't want. You know what? Like, there is controversy, and there is things that I wouldn't.
Too much?
No, posting too much is fine, because either way, they're not showing your post to anyone anyway. If you post 4 times a day, they'll just kill your reach. Be like, oh, you're trying to outsmart the system. They'll just kill your reach. So there's not a lot of people looking at those if you post 4 times or 6 times. But I wouldn't post more than 4 times a day. Only because you just don't want them to actually give you a penalty, which is kill your account.
You don't have people say, oh, unfollow, this person's so annoying.
Well,
I do that myself on people's accounts.
people will only do that.
Yeah.
People will only do that if you're posting stuff that are not interesting.
Okay.
If you're just posting stuff for the sake of posting, I will unfollow. But if your content keeps getting better, I'm not unfollowing. I'm just gonna go tag my friends. Look at this and look at that.
Yeah.
You know, that they will want more and more and more. It's like teasers, you know. But when you start posting annoying stuff, like not annoying, man, well, something not interesting, you just wasted my time. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, writing your life story with every post, that could be annoying too. So yeah.
Do you, on Instagram, you know, at the top of Instagram, there's those little 24-hour videos.
Stories.
Yeah, the stories.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you recommend that?
Yes, you can do that. That's like the replica of Snapchat. they did it anyway. They just copied it, and now they're doing it on Facebook. If you have the time to do it, do it. If you don't have the time to do it, just focus on your content more than on the platform. Like I would drive, let's say if I have time just for Facebook, I'll just focus on Facebook, but I will put 90% of my time on the content itself, instead of me trying to juggle from one place to another, and you don't get anywhere. Where if you put one really good thing on Facebook, it'll trumps everything that you're doing on everywhere else.
So when would be the best time to post, or does it depend on what audience you're trying to reach?
Most people wake up around 7 in the morning. They get ready for school, work. So we post at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you'll find that your post gets a lot more views, interaction, 7 o'clock in the morning. Some people say, you know what, we like to post around 8 p.m. at night. If you wanted to post twice a day, I would post 7 a.m. and 7 or 8 p.m. Why not? Yeah.
Does that work across all platforms?
Yes, because what happens is as soon as you wake up, you open up your Instagram, open up Facebook, open up Snapchat, all right, they're all out. Email, and then you look at the kids, you go wake up the kids, get breakfast ready. Yeah, so that's
and
what.
While the toast is cooking, have another look.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So you haven't spoken about Twitter that much.
Twitter is a very different game altogether. It doesn't matter how many times you post. You can post 20 times a day. Twitter loves you posting more than 20 times a day. By the way, they don't care. But nothing will happen anyway. The best way to approach Twitter is to interact with locals on Twitter. For example, if I live in Eltham, my business is in Eltham, and I might use the word Eltham in the search box in Twitter and see who just tweeted today, and I might like it or retweet if it's retweetable, might follow, and this works amazingly well because no one else is doing this on Twitter. No one else is interacting with them on Twitter. They've had their account for like 2 years, and after 2 years, oh my God, Eltham, I don't know, Cafe, what, just liked me on Twitter, you know? And then the next day they'll pop in. They're so excited that you just interacted with them on Twitter, and they'll walk in. I get clients tell me, oh, we had this XYZ just said we just followed them on Twitter yesterday, and they decided to come in and say hello. The client doesn't have any idea that he just followed that person, but people talk, and that's how you know this thing is working for you. Then now when you start posting, these people are paying attention to your posts, the ones that you're interacting with, and conversion rate is very high. You don't need much to get return on investment out of Twitter, other than if you interact with 10 people and 2 of them walked in tomorrow or in that week, it didn't really cost you much, you know? Yeah.
Except time.
Just time.
You're talking about 3 different platforms there.
Yeah.
So is there something that you can post at once and it can distribute it
You
out?
can use things like Hootsuite. Hootsuite is a platform that you can schedule posts and to go to different platforms from one window. Different.
Hoot.
H-O-O-T-S-U-I. Yeah.
Sweet. S-U-I-T.
Yeah. Hootsuite.
Yeah. But that doesn't actually go to Instagram.
That's
so
the only limitation is Instagram. So you can still hook your Instagram account to it, but it won't actually post. What it will do, it will remind you to post on Instagram. You know.
Is it Plannerly that does that too?
All of them do that. There are other platforms that can post direct to Instagram, which I can't mention because again, they can get your account blocked. Okay.
So with Instagram, you
can't schedule. No, you physically have to
set your alarm for 7.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
With a bit of research, you can find stuff on Google that will do it on Instagram. But I'm just giving you a bit of courtesy that if you do use it and one day you wake up and your account is not there, it's because of that. Unless that you really know what you're doing with it and how to tackle this sort of stuff. But best case scenario, once you wake up, you can post, yeah.
Is that actually part of the terms and conditions?
But their terms and conditions,
No
yeah.
one's ever read them, obviously.
No.
Yeah,
Tick
but
box.
that's what that, yeah.
It says no third-party access to Instagram has to be.
You have to go direct, but there are other platforms. There's always a kind of loophole. Yeah, they use their API and then kind of reverse engineer the system. And there are platforms they can post direct to Instagram. They don't care what Instagram think about them. They'll just do it. And there are a lot of brands using them. But you really got to be careful how to use those things. Yeah.
Just on that, there doesn't seem to be a way you can repost someone else's Instagram post.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes,
or
no,
not?
it's called Repost. It's
Yeah.
an app called Repost.
You have to have a separate app.
That's right.
There is a separate app. What we do, because there are so many apps that we use, we don't want any more apps. So we screenshot the thing. If anything that you want it to repost, you can screenshot it on your phone. And if you open up your Instagram, you select the image that you just want to, you screenshot it. The box fits perfectly inside your Instagram app, so you don't really need to do any cropping. So that's the easiest, quickest way to do it. And so how would they know that I've reposted? That could be the question. Like, what if it's copyright thing? You mention it in the caption that it's credit to XYZ and tag them within that post. You're done.
Because I do it when, say, a client has purchased my product to promote them, to
Yeah.
say, look, it's in this store, so I actually want to promote them. So I normally tag them so they know I'm actually doing it to promote
Nice
them,
work.
to
Yeah,
steal
yeah,
their
yeah.
content.
That's all what you need to do. And even in the caption, you can tag them as well in there, other than the tag on the image itself.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the most simplest way of reposting, and it looks a lot more cleaner from doing it from the repost because they add their
Because they doesn't have
that logo in there,
in the corner.
and sometimes it wrecks the post. Yeah.
So we've got all these different platforms that we're advertising across. How important is it to be active on every platform?
Okay, so we go back to that point that I mentioned before. If you can get the most out of one platform and make it really work for you, I wouldn't even bother with, for example, with the Instagram stories. Okay, some people say, I'm going to do a video and I'm gonna add music to it, and I'm gonna rebrand the video, and I'm gonna do this, and we won't even do any of this stuff, because if we're going to rebrand the video, edit it, and add a lot of music, buy music, copyright-free music, a lot of time consumed, more money, not necessarily. If you can just, that the content itself will make this thing work, I wouldn't bother with everything else. Now there is Snapchat, and there are people exactly the same with Twitter. If you interact with people on Snapchat, and Snapchat can work really well for you. But hold on, I don't even know how to make Facebook work. Why should I even look into all this other stuff? Don't. Figure out Facebook, make it work, get money out of it, then look into the other stuff. Facebook, Instagram will be my kind of two best platforms to get that going. Then look into the other stuff.
And if someone comments on your post, do you have to reply to everyone, or do you have to like that they've replied and made a comment?
If they're asking a question, obviously, but if they're just saying, if they put up those smiley faces, you can just like them, because you can kind of like the comment now. If they're saying something nice, but specifically to whatever the post is all about, you can respond back to them. It's like, so they don't feel like they're talking to a wall. Yeah, it's nice to respond back, yeah, but it depends on the situation. If it's just a smiley face, you can just like it, yeah.
I found when you do reply as a business, as a cafe, people actually
Appreciate
like
it.
Yeah,
Appreciate it,
and
yeah.
they actually are surprised.
I appreciate it, yes.
Yeah, because I've done that. I actually tend to reply to anyone that writes, whether it's a good or not so great review. And I acknowledge what they say.
Reviews, okay.
Yeah, and I had one person, and it was a Zomato review.
Yes.
I had one person replied when I replied and addressed what she what he mentioned, he actually thanked me and said, you know, thanks for taking, it really shows that you care about your business. So for me, that was the perfect marketing as well.
Yes.
Because other people would be reading it. But it's also because I did care about what they said.
Of course.
And I wanted to address it.
Yep.
And I actually asked him to email me privately, you know, with some more information so I could address.
So you can
what
help him
happened.
out.
Yeah,
Yes.
And again, he reiterated that he was very grateful that I actually was being proactive. So that actually helps in
Of course it does.
marketing your business as well.
Yep.
And anyone else is looking to this response, like they're looking at your reviews, they can see a negative review there and your response to it, and your response is not too bad, like you do actually care, you know, they'll dismiss it, they'll come in. But if they don't see a response and there's only one side of the story, that's when you lose people. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So we've been talking about the Facebook and Instagram advertising strategies. Can you tell us about the advertising aspect?
As advertising, that takes us back to the main conversation on how do we target those, how do we know if we're targeting the same profiles and all these different campaigns and remarketing and retargeting. So that's where that section falls back to. We find that instead of using interests, like when you start your boost and you want to target people around the area or around your business or where you believe that your customers come from, don't count too much on targeting interests. For one reason, Facebook tends to exclude a lot of people out of that. They are actually interested in your business and they fit that profile. So what we do when we first start a campaign, we don't actually have interests. We just go white blanket, just anyone and everyone. Then we get interaction. We wait for interaction. We give it time. And after that, we open up Facebook advertising reports and we look into who's responding to us. Who are they? So Facebook will say, you know what, between this age and this age, from this area and this area, all this kind of stuff. So we asked Facebook, you know what, are you able to, if it was video, okay, if that's the best, works the best with video. We asked Facebook, can you please go and get a list of, out of those who watched 75% of our videos on our Facebook page. Why? Because they are the most interested in your business. Even though you might have 5,000 people following the page, maybe 20% are highly interested, and they're the ones that watch up to 75% in that video. So let's say we had 10,000 video views on all your videos that you had on your page. Out of 10,000, you might get 2,000 people watched 75%. So you have that audience sitting on the side that you can remarket to them anything else that you have in the future, plus the other trick, which is...
Well, sorry, hang on. You've gone and asked Facebook, who are these people that watch 75%, and how do you cluster them together over here? Because
we once had that in technical terms, we create a custom audience out of the 75%.
That
Facebook will go and you can choose specifically, you can do all of that, and Facebook will create a custom audience of those 75%, and it might tell you, you know what, you have 1,800 or 2,000, even 1,000. Okay, so that's one audience sitting there on the side. But the big secret is, we asked Facebook, how about if you take that 2,000 people and create a lookalike audience of those 2,000 people, everyone that lives in Melbourne. So Facebook will go and scan all those 2,000 people, interests, age, profiles, characteristics, everything, and we'll create a lookalike audience of those 2,000 people who never heard of your business, but they really match that profile, and we'll make a list out of an audience to retarget, to target.
For you.
Yeah.
They customise for this.
Yeah, and you might end up with, depends how big the audience, you know, you could end up with 160,000 people. You could end up, you know, but usually on average 160,000 people if you're targeting a big city.
How much does that cost to get Facebook to do
Nothing.
Really?
Then what's going to cost you is the advertising. Don't you need to advertise to those people?
Yeah.
You can advertise, you can add to whatever budget you want
So when you boost, you pay for the boost.
to target that audience.
But
But
they'll actually create that audience for you
you need to create that audience first
for free.
for free.
Well,
But the only thing is, you just need to know the technical bit. Yeah,
they own it. We don't.
Imaginary audience.
It's an imaginary.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
I think, can you see that?
Creating a brand.
Can you see it?
But hang on, it's just,
Yes.
how do we know that they've done that and they've said that we've said we've created an audience for you of 160,000 people that fit this profile?
Yes,
They could have created a bucket of mud. How
Um,
would you know
Yeah,
that
that's
they've
a
done
good
it?
point.
because out of from our
Should we trust Facebook?
from our campaigns, from what we see, the results that we see when we target those audiences,
It must
we
be
see
working.
it works. Yes.
So they are doing what they're saying.
Yeah. Before it was really bad. When they first started, it was really bad. But they're ongoing trying to improve the advertising platform so they can get you better return on investment. The thing is, most people, like 99% of those who advertise on Facebook, have no idea what they're doing with it. So Facebook doesn't really care. They'll just give you, hey, boost, promote. You know, they know you have no idea already.
Yeah.
So they are already unethical to open it up to you to start with.
This is the idiot button, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
First
you know.
will say, idiots, push this button. and
Yeah,
play."
so, but
So
if
do
you
you
know how to drive the
recommend-
thing, sorry,
So do you recommend that every so often, or how often should we be boosting our...
daily.
So we should
This thing
boost
should
it,
not stop
So we should be boosting our...
Every
Um,
day.
daily.
But
You should
that's-
have a
but
campaign.
Not just pressing to promote.
No, you need a campaign. You need all these
Oh,
audiences sorted, you need your campaign sorted, planned, and you need to know exactly what you're doing with it, and then you turn it on a daily basis. And after a month, you stop and you start with a new message. Then a month later, you stop. It depends on what's going on in your business or the environment that your business is located, or occasions like Mother's Day, Valentine's Day. So you could create campaigns targeting those things, school holidays. So there are a lot of ideas that you can come up with.
Like in my business, I tend to post different meals, photos
Yeah.
of different meals. You know?
If the meal here is the thing. If I look at your post
Yeah.
and you try to advertise it, and I can see someone in the same area posting stuff, like amazing stuff that is relevant to your business or similar to your business, could be a restaurant or a cafe,
Yeah.
and they seem to do a really good job, way better than yours. It doesn't matter if you pull off a new special or not. If this thing is not exciting enough, it's not going to work.
And being the message, you know, with the food,
Yeah.
would it be the
I
message that
It's the food itself. It's the plating, the contrast. That's what's going.
That's what's
Yeah.
attractive, but I also find, like with what she's asking,
Yeah.
that sometimes it does help with the wedding. Like I've had people, I've had in some of my posts saying, because not a lot of people realise we do takeaway, or you know, if you're in a hurry, like I've written in a hurry, like I've got a nice picture of the coffee, and
Yes.
in a hurry, give us a call, and we'll have it ready for you when you arrive. And I've had comments saying, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Do you know what I
Like
mean?
you can this sort of stuff, this sort of like drip messages,
Yeah.
you can do that. But if you're talking about business transformation, that's a different thing. Okay. If you do these things the right way, you can double, triple your business.
Yeah.
If you're looking into incremental improvements, you can do those kind of messages.
Yeah,
So it depends what do you want to get out of it.
Sorry, I can see how you can build up an audience and so the chocolate shake thing, and you get likes and you get people and commentary and so on. Does it convert into foot traffic into your business to actually sit down and have a meal, buy a bottle of wine? Because I actually find the whole kind of social media thing is self-serving.
Yeah.
I like you, you like me, blah, blah, blah. You didn't get your bum in my actual restaurant.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want the foot traffic.
Yeah. So let's take another case study. A new chicken shop opened up in Fitzroy a couple of weeks back. No one knows about it. They opened up for like 2 weeks. First week was busy because people around the place, they walk past it. They've been seeing them building this thing for the last 6 months or so. So when they opened up, they all came in and he got excited. Oh my God, we're busy. Then the second week it was completely dead because everyone else that lived in that street, drove past you, came already. And that was it for them. So we got involved, and we started our campaign, I think, on was the 3rd or the 4th week. We started all those bells and whistles that we were talking about just now, and so they moved from what the lady said, from 40 kilos of chicken a week to more than 80 kilos a week of chicken, just because of the social media activity. And that's not including burgers, shakes, drinks, desserts. So it works.
But what did you do? Did you offer discounts, or did you?
We don't do discounts, no.
Yeah, so you recommend. So you recommend, because is that cheap in your business?
With discounts?
Offering discounts?
You can look discount if you have an audience that are interested in your business, and you came and said, you know what, I'm offering 25% on a Thursday, okay, and some percentage of those who's following the page might end up coming in. Say, you know what, I love this cafe food, I'm coming in, but not sufficient enough for me as a new potential customer to see this thing.
Yeah.
And if I'm used to go somewhere else, how would I know if I'm going to enjoy myself there or not? I'm not wrecking my experience just for 25% somewhere. There are people that do that they use entertainment book, which is a big massive book like that.
Yeah.
They don't care, I'll go everywhere. And then you find, when you open up Zomato or Facebook, oh, I came in with my entertainment book card and they treat me really badly, you know, I was asking for discount, and they're so good with writing reviews like that. And you know what, it's not their fault, because on the other side, the restaurant offered them that discount, and when they did get that kind of customer, they didn't kind of provide the same experience, and a backlash is due. But yeah, so we try not to really look into discounts. We really look into the showmanship of the product that you're trying to serve the customer.
So what did you do the chicken shop?
That's chicken flavor.
There's one question that comes up in my mind with all the people that came in the first week. Were they disappointed with what they got? Because wouldn't they be telling their friends and neighbours about this great new chicken shop? So what happened to word of mouth? Like, I find it hard to believe that 3 or 4 weeks later all their success is only due to social marketing, because it's either partly some repeat business because those people had a good experience and events.
Yeah, I understand. The thing is, they're new business. Not many people know about them. Okay,
sure.
Number one. Number two, they did have, let's say they did have some ripple effect, word of mouth, not sufficient enough to actually have this kind of massive transformation. And they can see it when, and here is the other thing that makes them feel it and touch it, that this thing is working, because whatever is we're pushing on social media, that's what they're selling.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the result.
Yes. So if we're selling cheesy chicken, promoting cheesy chicken on Facebook with some kind of sexy video, and then all those people out of nowhere. That's what we call it. We call it food porn, sexy videos, but really we're talking about food, okay? We want people to dribble, drool over videos, you know? So if this thing doesn't happen to me, if I look at that video, it's not gonna work.
Okay, so the purpose of that was to drive awareness in the local area, because at the end of the day, if it's a takeaway shop, you're really only going for the local market.
Yeah, yeah. If it's a takeaway shop and there's not much you can do, it's going to be very limited. But if it's a place that you have a bit of a room to play, we can do a lot, yeah. Or you can do a lot yourself.
I guess this chicken shop is local, right?
Yeah,
It's a takeaway shop.
Yeah, but it's a dine-in. You can actually, it's the setup inside. It's an amazing interior. They're making it something that doesn't look like a takeaway shop. It looks like an American diner stuff. Sexy. Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
Free range chicken?
Fried. Yeah, like south. What is it called? Yeah, southern fried chicken. Yeah.
What's the name of this?
You're going to have to go and visit.
Yeah, I can tell you later. And yeah. Google it.
So what happens after 50 weeks of the year? We are promoting our business and doing all this work on so many different platforms, and then we want time off.
Yeah.
What happens to our social media?
Schedule your posts.
Yeah, you can schedule your posts on your behalf to go off. It shouldn't stop. Like if you know that you're stopping for the month of January because you're going away, it should not stop. You can do, you know what, I'm going to do a giveaway in January, and I'm going to boost that thing that I don't have anything to sell. I'm closed. How about I'll do a giveaway on that month and get everyone engaged in, because you'll be boosting it, you'll be doing all that sort of stuff. So everyone else, all your customers will be engaged with that while you're away. Everyone is tagging everyone and say, you can tell them, hey, tag your friends to win, I don't know, 2 breakfasts worth of $100 or whatever it is. And you'll find if they love you and what you do, you'll get massive interaction on that thing. And if you can get that on to go for the entire January while you're away, you're getting them all involved with it while you're in Bali or somewhere, you know.
On the beach having cocktails.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So as a restaurant owner, would you suggest only to focus advertising on social media?
As a restaurant owner, there is a lot of different advertising platforms any business should look into, not just the restaurants. I mean, because we're a social media agency, we focus on social media, but there is public relations, means, you know, these other platforms where you can write press releases and send it to them, like Broadsheet or Good Food, but depends on the level of the business. The pay. What it means when you pay for PR, you're paying for a public relations agency to write a really good kind of a press release on your behalf, where if you don't know how to write your story in an appealing way, to get that publication to come in. So if you can't communicate your story, no one will be interested. So people pay PR agencies to improve that story and tap into their connections to make that happen for you. Even if you do that, there's no guarantee that the publication will end up writing about the business. Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, I received a call last year from the Age Epicure saying they were doing a write-up on cruising cafes. I got all excited because I thought, someone's chosen us, they've come in, they've liked our food. Anyway, 20 minutes into the conversation, she said, we'll get photographers in, we'll get photographers in, we'll get a journalist in to write your story, there'll be a whole page spread. And I sincerely thought someone came in and recommended us to them, and they wanted to do, like a review. And then after that, she asked for the email address, and she said, so I'll send you the invoice, it needs to be paid. And I said, what invoice? What do you mean? How much is it going to cost? And it was $4,500. And I said, I just started laughing because I thought, well, first of all, I'd love to be able to have that disposable income too. But I was very disheartened because I thought, hang on a minute, I thought these reviews are sincere reviews about someone going in. And
so here is the answer to this. There's 2 sections in the Epicure. There's the advertising section and there's the reviews journalists section, which you won't be able to tap into. It has to be their kind of decision. The advertising section kind of piggybacks on the other section, say, we're from the Epicure. But really, they're organising an ad inside the paper, and they're trying to sell it to you in other places. But it will say an advertising feature on top of that page. So it's up to you.
I quickly share something that worked for me last year. I wanted to advertise our non-slip socks for falls prevention in the elderly in the senior newspaper, because I know seniors aren't really on social media. So
Yes.
how do I tap into this market? Anyway, they sent me their advertising rates. They were ridiculous because I did want to advertise Australia-wide. And I ended up meeting the lady that does the advertising at an expo I did, and she said, look, I really like your product. It is really good for our market, but I understand because that's all you sell, it's a big investment. And in the end, she offered me an editorial, and that was nearly a quarter of a page. And I think, you know, this might work for other businesses, in exchange for me giving them product for them to give away as prizes. So it ended up costing me 30 pairs of socks and I think 15 postage satchels to send out prizes Australia-wide. But that's what I put up as payment for this feature, and it got me more sales than when I did pay for advertising.
Yeah, well,
So I think that could work for a lot of businesses. Just say, look, I'm a small guy here, and I don't have that kind of money to invest, and maybe something like that could work.
yeah, what I do as part of it as well is help supporting the community. We have a lot of social clubs come in and ask for vouchers or donations, so I give breakfast vouchers. And so what we do is we, you know, I get the staff or whoever's serving to staple the receipt to that particular voucher, and I just sort of audit and see, okay, well this person, I gave them a $25 breakfast voucher, but they've actually spent $75 because they've come in with their friends or their family. So for me that works.
Yeah. Well, look,
you know,
that's excellent. See, there are so many ways you can promote your business other than just social media.
Yeah.
So social media is not just the only thing. There are a lot of ways that you can experiment with, and you can see what's working and what's not. And obviously you'll disregard whatever is not working and focus on what works for you. Social media is not everything.
What's your role? What
Strategist. So I
So if
strategize.
for my business, I would come to you and I say, Ed, you know what, my fingers are broken, I just don't want to do this myself. So work it out for me. How does that work?
So
And how
what?
much does it cost?
Yeah, the cost is completely varies. What kind of, yeah.
Just throw it out there.
But what we will do when we get a client, how would we approach his business? First of all, we look into the marketability of the business. Is it interesting and exciting enough for us to actually put it out there and push it? Because we know if someone doesn't really have something to say or doesn't really innovate or trying to do something out of the normal, it's going to be very hard for us to get them going. But if we find a business owner that wants to do things and he's got ideas and we have ideas and we can put them together, we're willing to work with them. But we can't create miracles out of something that is already broken, okay? But if someone that doing well or does have something interesting and exciting but didn't really tap into it properly, we can help. It really comes down to if someone wants running a boring kind of business and wants to do social media and wait for miracles to happen, it's not going to happen. So, but if someone is already doing exciting stuff and he wants to put that on steroids, we can do that, you know? Yeah.
What sort of industry works for social media? I mean, obviously, as you said, it's got to be an exciting product. It's got to be a product that you can photograph beautifully and interestingly, and that lends itself very well to hospitality and food. With wine, for example, it's a bit hard to take the same photo of a glass of wine. For socks, I guess.
You dress them up.
Behind the scenes stuff is interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously some industries that don't work for all the stuff.
Yeah.
Like service industries. That's
Yeah.
yeah, I can see Karen behind you.
Yes.
So I guess behind the scenes, the industries like wine.
Influencers. Get influencers involved with your business. Like, oh my God, XYZ goes there. Must be good. Okay, so if you instead of saying, you know what?
Endorsements.
Sorry, endorsements. Yeah, even if you have to pay for it. That. Josh Clooney, yeah, that's it, man. You can get local influencers on Instagram, and you'll know that they might have your audience.
So local influencers are people who you pay
Yeah,
We
come in
were-
for an experience,
Yeah.
get them on photos and videos.
I kicked him out. Get out of here.
Give them some wine.
Yeah, and they'll
Take his keys.
post that on their side and your side, and you tap into their audience,
Yeah.
and their audience be like, oh, XYZ been there, so it must be good, so let's go this weekend.
We could find some influence.
Okay,
Maybe
so
the same as food bloggers, would it not?
yeah, it's
Invite
similar
them.
to food bloggers.
Food bloggers and also the, like Yarra Valley leader newspaper, Darwin Creek leader newspaper, there's one in particular reporter who's also a blogger, and if you give her a free meal and a bottle of wine, she'll report on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot
I
of
think it really-
those floating around.
But there's a lot of people who eat out for free.
Yes,
But you've got to be careful with that because a lot of them are, so.
they're not supposed to take that. Yeah. So, but that's kind of, it'll be between you and them, George Clooney. Yeah, so that's one aspect that you can look into. The other aspect is, okay, it's wine, and you can engage with lifestyle images, but so can I get more information? What is it again? What's the more information about the business? What else other than wine?
Just wine.
Just wine?
Just wine.
Do you sell to places?
Yes.
Like restaurants and cafes? Okay.
You could do profiles and
Can
especially
can-
if they're like wedding venues or restaurants.
can you host events there? Not interested. What do you really want? Do you want to sell wine to retail?
So we're opening an off-site cellar door.
Off-site as well?
Yeah.
Can people sit there and
That's what we're aiming for. So a cellar door experience off-site. So where we are at the moment, it's a working winery. So it's very cold. It's a concrete building.
yeah,
So we're moving it to St Andrews where it's going
where
to
people can sit down and
people can sit down and have a tasting experience.
okay.
So
Yeah, well you can promote that, but then again look into the produce that you're going to use. You can tap and say, you know what, we don't just do, if you want to move that side of the business, look into organic produce. Why, if you want to do a tasting other than just wine, you can do like a cheese platters. Would that be
yeah,
or just
maybe
wine?
Down the track, we've got issues with license and serving food because where we are on the site's very restricted for water wastage. So I don't really want to go down there. At the moment, it's just going to be wine tasting and wine sales.
Okay.
But with your wine, do you sell it to really hoity-toity restaurants?
Yeah, we do.
That could be an angle.
Yeah,
Would they be up for that though?
To try and
Give us a list of your
attract other
hoity-toity
Yeah.
restaurants.
we're at Attica. That's
less
pretty
hoity-toity sort of restaurants.
We're at Bennelong in Sydney. That's pretty hoity-toity. I can't think
Yeah,
of
so
any others.
can't you advertise? Can't she advertise that she's providing?
It's
wine
actually
to-
trying to find that angle, isn't it? I
Mm,
think. Like, hey,
I would
restaurant.
I would recommend to run the post on your clients' pages. Someone like the Attica, or someone that is really important, or have a celebrity kind of status.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say, you know what, I want to promote on your channel if I provide you XYZ kind of for the trouble.
Fabulous idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Free
Yeah.
wine.
Because we're doing this. Yeah, we're doing this already with a brand. We weren't approached by the brand. We're obviously by our client. Say, hey, look, XYZ is giving us a bit of money to push their thing that we're using their kind of drinks. Can we do something with it on our channel? But this brand didn't only reach out to this restaurant. They've reached out to every single restaurant on their database. And then every single restaurant launched their campaign all at the same time. Okay, so you can do that too.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And bundle this with influencer marketing. You should get something out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, that's all right. Yeah, where are
So
we
what
now?
about Google? Can we help Google? Can we employ Google to help lift our status?
Google. Okay, so the secret of Google, how can you make it really work, is a lot of places they have their Google listing, but they don't do much with it. They don't know what to do with it. we noticed that every time we do a photography session and we upload those photos to their Google listing, the Google listing itself gets massive exposure on that month, because Google think there is something new here, and we're going to give that listing a lot more exposure than the other ones that their owners don't really touch it. Number one. Number two is we insert their Google listing link in our email marketing campaigns. So if we have an online booking system and we know XYZ was here last night at the restaurant, so the booking system will send them an email the day after saying, thank you so much for dining at XYZ restaurant. We would love you to review us on Google, and the Google listing link will be there. And that increases your reviews, at the same time increases your ranking on Google. Probably no one is doing this. Most likely no one, pretty much. If there is someone doing it, it has to be an agency, or an agency willing to do something for their clients. But yeah, if you can do this sort of stuff, and you can change the link. So this month you'll do it to Google, next month to Zomato, next month to Facebook. And if you're not a food business, Facebook, Google, yeah.
Sorry, can you go into more detail on the Google one? I don't understand.
So you know how you have your Google My Business listing?
Okay, Google My Business.
Yeah, so that's your Google Maps listing
Okay.
for the business. And the more reviews you get on that, Google will give you more exposure to the business, and will push everyone else down. And if you keep uploading new photos every month, it gives you massive exposure.
Just by adding photos.
But just by adding
That's
photos.
directly to Google, not on your Facebook page.
No, to your Google listing, yeah.
I always noticed Google never really has mass amounts of reviews, so
You don't get
you don't.
reviews.
Try
Try being,
when companies that I look at don't seem to have a lot of reviews, but
because they're not proactive.
They're not,
They're not doing much with it. Yeah. So you need to be proactive with these things.
How do you get that?
Sorry, go ahead.
With that, the ranking, because I've got the Google location thing.
Yeah.
But how do you activate the ranking?
And it's so.
What's the reviews?
It's everyone writing.
I think so if you go into it in Google and Google your own business name, you've got to claim the business. If you've never used it before, you've actually got to go off to the right hand side and claim the business, and they'll send you a code and all sorts of things, and then you can go and update it.
So you don't do it from your login.
No, you can't review your own business from your login.
No.
You have to be a customer.
Yeah.
So what he's saying is get people to review your business on Google, and then you provide the link, so they go into the link and just 5 out of 10.
Yeah, but it actually won't work unless you actually activate the whole Google.
Is it active yet? Is it verified listing?
Yeah, the listing comes up.
Is it verified? Have you verified it?
Have you claimed it? Have you owned it?
No, most likely no. So, yeah. Sorry?
So how do you
There is a button where it says claim this listing,
Oh
or
yeah, I've done that.
if you can't find it, go to Google My Business. There will be a website that it's actually Google My Business. You go in there, log in with your Gmail account, and say add location, and you enter your business details, usually a phone number or whatever it is. It will find it for you, and then it will say, would you like to verify this? And it might give you 3 options. One, by mail, which is they mail your PIN number to your address. Phone number means they might ring you, and or SMS. Yeah.
It's quite secure too. It's not bad.
Yeah.
How do you, when we took over, there were quite a few bad reviews about the cafe, and we didn't change the name. And so when I went on, I wanted to claim the business, and I didn't know how. And so you like, and it's the same on Zomato. Like it wouldn't allow you to delete because you're a new owner to delete the bad reviews.
You won't be able to do that
because you're a completely different owner.
It doesn't matter.
Completely different things.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't matter.
So how do you get people to see that? I mean, what I did, I just put in a comment under new management, blah blah. You know.
Yeah.
New menu.
You can do that.
But is there a way?
Is
that
it
you
still
can
the same business name?
Yeah. It is.
That's what it is. No way you can remove those reviews. The only way you can remove them is change the name, rebrand, new concept. Okay, that's it was a case today, by the way. It was a case today by a client. And it's funny because he just bought a place that was run by a celebrity chef. And this guy, he has like 4 stars out of 5 on Zomato, which is nearly impossible to get that. And he wanted to get rid of it, start a new one. Oh, no, keep that. Yeah, and I get other clients that have like, you know, 3 reviews or whatever, and they want, you know, either keep it or I want to. So, but then we get the ones that want to get rid of it completely, and they still have the.
It's not a true reflection of our business.
Yeah, they want.
It's
too much too much of a headache for them as a platform.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses get bought on a daily basis. Yeah. If they need to sit there and delete reviews, it's a full-time job for them.
So you just need to get all your new clients to do what.
Yeah.
And would it? Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask.
It pushes the
down,
star rating down.
Yeah. So the bad reviews will be down the bottom, and you have to actually search for it. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
So
which is what I do.
I was going to ask, so going back to the reviews, so do you then, like with your clients, when say you've delivered a job, do you respond to them and ask them if they could go on there and provide?
Yeah, and you know what? For your business, you can offer them an incentive. So hey man, if you go in there and say something, I would give you XYZ the next visit, and you'll be surprised how many. If you ask, then you only get maybe 4 will actually bother and go and do it. That's a 4 that you will never have gotten to start with. That's if you get any. Like if you, a lot of places they don't get any. So those 4 could be all those 4s that you will ever have, you know. So it's very valuable to actually try to be proactive.
Can I also suggest, sometimes you don't even have to give anything away, it's just planting the seed. Like when you get a positive review, you know, like say for example when I'm working at the cafe and I'll say, how was your meal? Oh, it was delicious. Oh, can you get on our Facebook page and like it or tell someone about it? So like if you get a positive review or positive feedback, well not review but positive feedback verbally, you know, maybe say, oh, do you mind putting that on our Facebook page? And
you know,
people like love to. I find a lot of people are shocked that you even they think, oh, have you got a Facebook page? Oh yeah, okay, I didn't know that. And then
I'll give you an idea. When I had my shop, so I created my own kind of cheat sheet. So steps I opened up Word and I listed all the steps that I had to do to go on Google or Facebook or even Zomato. So I've typed that all up with little screenshots. If someone is illiterate, they don't know what they need to do. That's number 1. Number 2, it reminds them when they get home. They still have it, you know. Oh, I got to do this. And I boosted my reviews.
So you physically handed it to people?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like, you got to do it. I'm going to ask you next time.
Yeah. I've even put a little slip of paper with my beautifully presented meal. So normally they're delivering top stuff. But they put a little thing, if you like us, here's our Facebook page. Please go on.
Yeah, and it helps them find you. It helps them find you.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is if you actually send them an email with a link, and all they do is click the link, bang.
Yeah.
You don't have to type anything up, or, you know, it's just a.
It's
about making it easier.
And that could be easy too. If you have their email address, send them an email. Look, you know what? You don't have to provide incentive at the start. Try that approach, just asking. And if the asking doesn't work, then get the incentive involved and see where that will take you.
Well, I've got a few, because anyone that gave me a review sort of back up from an email, when I put in a testimonials page on the website, I contacted all them. But say 8 out of 10 of them said, yeah, no problems, and put that up. So yeah,
should be okay. Yeah, wonderful. Okay. Where are we now?
So should we outsource our social media marketing?
Yeah. That's the big question. That's the big question.
At what stage do we go, this isn't working, I need some help?
When your budget's big enough.
No, well.
Yeah, well, obviously, when you start talking with outsourcing, you will need a budget to make it actually worth the effort for both parties, yourself and the other party that you're getting engaged. And you need obviously enough money, not just for the management side of it, for the advertising side of it. So it will be you need to have a budget to actually get something out of it, but not just something. What do you want out of this thing? Do you want business transformation and you want to leverage a lot of those tricks that you don't have access to, you don't know how to run? Then you can engage an agency. You've got the funds. Why not? That's a smart decision. But if you are low on budget and you want to try things, whatever we discussed today, it should be more than enough to actually get you started and get results. Like if you go home, even if you understood things vaguely and not 100%, and you just try to tackle with it, just tackle it and see, would that work? Does it work? Try it again, try it again. And if you see that works, just for yourself, just to get your confidence level better, try to get return on investment out of it. Then think, you know what? Okay, now that I know I can get something out of this thing, then maybe now is the time to look into outsourcing it. Or the other way is, if you have a lot of time because you're not so busy now, and you want to why not try to focus on your marketing? Okay, you don't need to engage an agency if you have a whole lot of time where you can just sit, because you're not busy to start with. You know, do your own research, study, experiment, and run things, you know. But don't make it, when you start getting results and you get busier, you find yourself, you stop your marketing activities because you're getting busy at the other side, as your business side. And that's when the time you should look into outsourcing, because as soon as you start lacking on that side, it will stop.
So as a minimum, if a new client came to you, what is the minimum amount of time you would suggest that they are on board with you?
Well, we don't have a time. Most clients, they come and they stay. Okay, why do they stay? Because it's marketing. It's a kind of an ongoing activity, and as long as they're getting a return on investment, they should not stop, because they know as soon as they stop, we turn the tap off.
What's the typical budget? I know it's hard for you to estimate.
It is hard, very hard.
Let's just say a small cafe comes to you and says, look, I want to try before I buy.
Yeah.
So let's just say we put a 3-month program together for them, or you put a 3-month program together. What's it going to cost them to sort of do a basic try before you buy sort of scenario? And obviously, look, if it works, and you're saying it will work, then they'll stay, right?
Yeah.
And partially it's what you guys do as well to sort of.
Yeah. Well, look, I don't really engage in any figures conversation unless I'm actually sitting with someone, because every single, even if it's 2 cafes, you own a cafe and the person next door owns a cafe, they might have the capacity, the size of the cafe, it doesn't really fit your cafe. If there's a 100-seater and a 30-seater, how can we fill a 100-seater with a 30-seater budget, or vice versa? It's every single business we need to sit and talk. We can't just say numbers out of nowhere, and then people just come up with their own assumptions.
Would you suggest that there's a sort of an amount of hours per week? Like is it 2 hours, 3 hours?
It's not hours. Look, it's not hours. It's not hours. It's focus on something. Okay, just do it, and see, does it work? If it does, I don't care if it takes you 5 minutes. If this thing works and only took you 5 minutes, it took you 5 minutes. If it takes you 10 hours to do research to come up with something that took you 5 minutes, it took you 10 hours and 5 minutes. It doesn't matter how long it takes you, as long as it works.
And is it a bad thing to keep reusing your same pictures every now and again? Like, for example, we've got a vast variety of different meals that have been used in the past, but person that I used to get to take the photos with her great camera has now got full-time work and so I'm just taking
Reusing.
Yeah, is that bad?
Well,
Yes.
You've got to keep interest.
Not exciting.
That's right.
I have unliked every single place that sends me food photos. I'm over it. Instagram, full of them. Facebook, all of them. I've gone in and got rid of all of them.
But what
I'm
about
on a diet. apart from
I'm on a diet.
I just do not want to see any more photos. You wake up in the morning and there's 9,000 photos of food and you just go, oh god.
So you just like the wine photos now.
you just keep the live photos?
No, I'm now into the
Look.
the body shots of people.
Yes.
Pictures and video.
Yeah.
Do you do that or?
We do that, yeah.
Okay.
We do that. Going back to your question, if you run an interesting, exciting business again with creative ideas and you always innovate and you're pushing stuff, wonderful things out, even if you cheat and repeat those images, okay?
But I just change wording.
No one really cares. It works, okay? As long you're ticking the boxes.
Yeah. Well, I look at how many. This is another thing. Do you look at the views? Is that how you sort of judge?
Interaction. So we look at interaction, comments, tagging each other, or this weekend, or tomorrow's dinner, this weekend dinner, birthday party, this, that. We look at all these comments. If this is not happening, it's not working.
Okay.
Okay, we need those people to have those ideas and interact with it. And we take social media as a digital pamphlet. Means when you get a flyer in the mailbox, you open it up, you might be interested, you might not be interested, but if you are interested, there is no one else to tag there. You might put it on the bench, you might forget about it. The exact same thing when this thing pop up on your feed on Facebook. It's that flyer in the mailbox. It's exactly the same thing, but you can tag people with it. That your friends or mates or whatever, this weekend or birthday party or anniversary, or there are, I don't know, they come up with crazy comments. They might even do swear words, you know, their language. If the younger audience, they have names to each other. We don't care what they call themselves. All we know that this thing is working, and we get feedback from the client. Oh, look, we can't keep up with this thing, for example, in store.
So you know where it's got views and it's got the bar that's coloured in. You know, it says
1,000 views, 2,000 views.
Does that mean that many people saw?
Yeah.
Actually saw.
But if there is no interaction, it's useless. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Because we were sitting with someone once, and he was showing me his Facebook page. Look how many views we're getting.
Yeah.
But there was no interaction. No interaction at all. And I knew that wasn't working for him. And I said, so he was so proud that he had 2,000 views on each post. Yeah. Not one single comment.
Any likes?
No likes. He was so proud of the views that he was boosting every single post on his Facebook page. And look at this and look at that. That's how you know these people need help. Yeah, they need help, you know. Yeah, what else? Any other questions?
I'm interested in how you work. More questions about that. So when you first sit down with a client and you find out what this client needs and you engage the person, after the initial posting or initial strategy that you give out, when would be the second time you see your client? Or engage with them, or the feedback?
I guess that's a very good question. Another question is, so we start with a campaign. When do you actually see results? So most agencies, they will tell you need at least between 3 to 6 months to be with an agency to start seeing results. Between 3 to 6 months. Number two, they'll lock you up in a 3 to 6 month contract. That's if not 12-month contracts. So we have no contracts, and We don't lock up people with anything. And we usually estimate results by the end of the first month. So results mean you actually can see and touch this thing is working for you. And if it's not, thank you very much and see you later. For one reason, if it took us an entire month between back and forth and talking to each other and testing and experimenting, and we can't really make this thing works, you know, there's no reason for us to keep taking your money, and there is no reason for them to keep going with us. Like really, if we start the campaign on a Monday and a whole week we're pushing in these people's feed and they're seeing it and everything, by if not the same weekend, like next week, you don't see people actually coming in from that campaign. It's not working. So if that didn't work, we meet up quickly, or we might launch another campaign, and we might test again, like the second week or the third week, and let's see, would that work? So we do a lot of testing. The first month, a lot of testing, and we really expect results. We don't expect just test. We want results. If we can't get that, and it really took us 4 weeks, and we really can't make it work, we're in trouble. Yeah. Maybe that's whatever we're pushing is not interesting enough, not exciting enough. Yeah, so with that...
If your business is in Eltham,
yeah.
and the business that you engage is 50 kilometers away, and you say you do all the photography and the video.
We do that, yeah.
How do you get to the place or in order to get the image?
Photographer.
How do you actually physically go into
photographer,
the...
yeah. No, photographer will come.
Actually send somebody
Yeah.
to go take a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you go post every day at 7 a.m., do you take then 100 photos?
Yes.
And then, okay.
So we create a whole bunch of them in one visit. And usually the first month might require more than one visit in that same month, specifically if the place just opened. Going back to that chicken shop, so we had to come in there more than one time, so we came in twice on that same month.
Do you get them to cook every type of meal?
Yeah.
So do you have a radius of how far the business has to be?
Usually Melbourne or like we can go all the way up to Glen Waverley, so that's around just 1 hour and a half drive. That it's still we can manage, no problems. Mentone, it was an hour and a half drive, but that's as far as we went so far with our clients.
Where are you based?
Sorry?
Where are you based?
Derrimut. That's like Derrimut. We're Deer Park site. Yeah, so it is an hour and a half drive. Yeah, yeah.
So for a business like ours, we've already got a lot of really professional photos. Would you still send a photographer to try and get a different angle, or what do you do in that instance?
If it doesn't fit the criteria, if it's something that is irrelevant to what we're trying to get out of the campaign, we will have to do it again, yeah. But if it fits our criteria, more than happy to run with it.
Yes. And the other thing I was thinking as you've been talking, you said, you know, exciting. Obviously we think our products are exciting, but there are so many hamper companies, like there's so many restaurants, wineries, whatever. What do you define as exciting? How do you make yourself exciting?
Yeah, that's the big question. That's the $1 million question.
Socks. How are you going to make?
So what's your unique selling point for your business that the next door doesn't have? What makes you different?
Because, well, you can pick and choose and customise the hampers, and we've got lots of, you know, bright, colourful and girly bits and pieces. It's not your standard wine, nuts.
And on trend items, like I'm thinking, when the fidget spinner came out, all those things that everyone decides I have to have that.
It could be for hampers. I would again look into influencers, endorsements.
We did try that. I don't know if you know Roxy Javenko, that woman and her daughter Pixie sells the bows, so we stock her bows. And by her commenting, we got an extra 1,000 likes on Instagram.
But did it get any sales?
Yeah, led to sales as well.
Led to sales. Yeah. So that by itself, the person that is promoting the thing could be the exciting side of it, not the actual thing itself. But if you wanted to do your own kind of exciting campaign, then we will need to look into how can we showcase that hamper in a unique way that will make people, oh my god, I'm getting this. It could be perhaps adding something in there that not a lot of other hampers companies add in it. It could be the way that we put it together, that it's presented. So this is the two things that I would experiment with and see where would that take us. Usually some places they know, you know what, this hamper company, they get this kind of stuff from XYZ country, and this thing is the only thing that is driving it for sales. So how can you get something that is so unique to put in your hampers and still price effective and everything, and that will put kind of excitement, add excitement to this hamper. Could be even hooked to occasions like Mother's Day or Valentine's Day. People will see it, and if you customize it, obviously relevant to these things. Yeah, there are a lot of things that you can experiment with, but obviously experiment doesn't mean results. You need to experiment and test, and then see if this thing is going to work for you or not.
Can I ask, would you ever, or would you do like an event, say a small business expo tailored for a specific audience coming up in a year's time, where you're trying to funnel a lot of ticket sales for an event or an art show or something? Is that the kind of work that
To promote what?
to promote, trying to get people to come onto the Facebook and the Instagram pages to buy tickets to an event?
How would you sell more tickets?
Is that the kind of thing that you could get involved in, though? Leading up to
I prefer not to. That's not my industry, only because it will take me a lot more time to study it, because the restaurant cafe world, I know it upside down, inside out. So we can get results very, very, very quickly. With something that we're not engaged with, there is a learning curve. Means we need to, it will take a lot more time to research and see what else is working out there, what kind of strategies. We have access to a lot of things. Like we can, if we want to make it happen, we will make it happen. But it will be a lot more costly for us to get engaged with this. Yeah.
Costly for you because you've got to do the learning curve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Instead of saying, oh yeah, I can get engaged, we'll take the money, and then, oh sorry, it didn't work. You know? Yeah.
Interesting.
Just to follow up on the lady's question at the end there about how do you work. I don't own a restaurant, right? I've got customers that do. If I want to recommend them to you, how does it? At what point do they get an invoice?
So some people prefer to pay weekly. Some people prefer to pay fortnightly.
Yeah, but did you come in and sit down with them and work out?
We'll work out the strategy. Yeah, so we sit down, we work out a budget, we work out a plan, and then obviously we will need to find out if this business is viable or not. So we will look into whatever they're doing. Like for example, this week I met with a lady, and she had kind of vegan business concept, which is trendy. It works, and there are a lot of people interested with this sort of stuff. But what I found out, it was a kind of takeaway shop, like a very typical takeaway shop, where they might cook like a vegan lasagna and they put it in the bain-marie, display it, people walk in, oh, can I have it? Like, I don't think, putting this plate of lasagna on social media and paying for it, for us to get engaged and push this thing, going to get you anything out of us. We would need a whole lot more exciting stuff than a plate of lasagna. And that was it. That was the end of the conversation. If we know that we can't help, we will just say we can't help. But if we can help, we will have this conversation will turn into how can we move forward and everything.
So what's the minimum? Okay, we know what a maximum can be anything
Yeah.
huge, but if you're on a tight budget, what's the minimum that you would say you would need to, you know, turn something around? I mean, even slightly.
I won't engage with numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, from
So you have to,
look, the thing with numbers is, and we know it based on study and research. Okay, as soon as you say numbers, it sets the person becomes biased by the number, and the results become, or return on investment becomes irrelevant. His size of the business becomes irrelevant. Oh, but you mentioned. Okay, so I'm not engaging with numbers.
Would your initial consultation with someone be free of charge in that case?
Like, is it a free quote?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we can do that, only because you just don't know. You don't know if you can help this person or not, unless you actually sit down with them and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Have a conversation, and if they feel that they're comfortable to tackle something like this, wonderful. If we feel that we can get results, I will communicate it in a very confidently.
Because I think you've been asked the question about cost 3 times.
Yeah, I know, yes.
If you just say.
But there is, look, at the end of the day, even if you can't afford the service, there's nothing, it doesn't hurt by having a conversation. Like, I don't really mind if they can afford me or not, or afford the service or not. I don't really mind. Because if we sit down together, you might know someone that can afford that service. And believe it or not, we did get a lot of inquiries by people that someone referred someone. He couldn't afford us, but he knew a restaurant much bigger and has a bigger capacity. And they told me, Mark, can you please go speak to this guy? I believe you can help him more than you can help me. You know, so we're not biased like that. We can talk to anybody.
Do you work by yourself or do you have a staff?
Oh no, we have, but I'm the main guy to speak with. Okay.
But then you get somebody else to work with.
There is, yeah. Back end is, I'm not the person who'll sit there and post. Yeah. I have no time to post.
It's not your 15-year-old daughter, is it?
No.
Joking?
No.
You'd be really good at.
I know.
Sorry?
You do only food business?
Yes. Well, when we first started, we picked up some salons on board, dentists, some medical, and we know how to get clients for those. Like someone runs a salon, we know how to get that working for them, only if they have a very good kind of price point, like they're not budget-driven hair salon and focused on women. They need to be focused on women, and they have a very good kind of cost per return on investment per person. Like, I don't know, if they're really cheap, they won't make any money. If they charge well and the service is premium, good stuff and everything, we can make that work. Yeah, and we're laughing. But if it's a budget salon and they can't really get those amazing kind of before and after, it's going to be very hard.
Do you do boutique accommodation?
What is it? Sorry.
Accommodation?
We have not experimented with this yet. We haven't worked with something like this yet. If we would need to, again, a lot of testing. Yeah, that's how you know. Look, if we're saying we need to test, you should be testing. You know.
And what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Look, I'm more than happy. I can pass you my number. You can ring me even if you wanted to ask. Instagram, you can.
You can Google it.
Instagram, Google me through the website. Yeah, no problem.
Well, that's actually how I got in contact with Mark. For some reason, you've popped up on my Instagram page, and so many times your posts are relevant to what I'm experiencing on that day at that particular time, which makes me think that I'm not the only person in this bubble. Everyone in this room is having some sort of struggle or thought, and it's just, you just post it at the right time, and it's like, ooh.
Yeah, well, that's a service business like ours. How can I get attraction from social media? So I thought, you know what, everyone else in the service business posting about food, like something similar to our kind of service, they're posting food or lifestyle, or they're having breakfast or coffee and all that sort of stuff. And I thought to myself, you know what, I'm not going to copy whatever they're doing. I'm just going to post kind of inspirational words every single day. And so if you look at the account, not one single image, like photo or anything, it just kind of quotes. And surprisingly, I had a lot of people like them approach me in private and say, when can we meet, or I love your stuff, or how you know, it did generate business, or wonderful kind of relationships, you know, connections. Maybe this thing that I'm doing has a lot to do with information, because other people look at that, say, oh, that's so relevant to my business. But if cafe doing this sort of work, it's not gonna get somebody in the door to have breakfast or lunch. It's irrelevant. Yeah.
How big is the team?
Sorry.
How big?
There are around 5. There are around 3 as contractors, which is like photographers. When we need them, they go to the job. And then there is me. So between all of us, there is around 9. 3 of them is contractors, and the others is just account managers, web designers, graphic designers. We need a lot of graphic design work to retouch and re-edit. Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming along.
No worries. Thank you so much for being a great. Thank you.
And thank you very much. We have a gift for you for coming along tonight.
Oh my God.
So,
No, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No, I will stay here. If anyone has any question, yeah, feel more than happy.